Good afternoon, you beautiful people. It is Eastern Time, 2:06 p.m. Big H is in the house, the big cat. Uh, I'm going to play something for you that I think is super duper important. I always say do your own research, stuff like that. But one thing I can tell you right now is whether it's Hollywood, whether it's West Coast, whether it's Democrats that are in high power, some people in the media, you're going to start seeing people waking up that's going to help the others that aren't awake rise and shine. And Vince Ellison, this dude is powerful. This guy is going to just I'm going to let it play for you, and he is going to let you in on some secrets. And a big shout out to Stephen Gardner here on your right. But wait till you listen to what this gentleman has to say. And I'm going to put a link to this in the bottom. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe me. When you see this and hear this, it is going to blow your mind. Uh, I just, I wish other people will get this out there and hear this man's voice. So this is Vince Ellison and Stephen Gardner having a one-on-one. And I'll play a little bit for it, and you just make sure you go back and watch the whole interview.
It's because of that same concept. They got to keep Black people under control. They want to keep the public educational system under government control. So
Now, when I say no for teachers unions, I'm not talking about the teachers at all. I believe in unions for the right reasons. I believe they can also go astray for evil reasons. And in the teachers unions, I love pretty much every teacher I've met personally, but I know the hierarchy. I've heard from teachers myself that it's the people in charge that they're starting to get awake to. So check them out.
so the Black people can't get an education. They want to destroy the Black family so the Black man can't protect his wife and his children. They want to make sure that they bring the fentanyl and the drugs in so they can keep the people completely inebriated and under their control.
Do you hear that? Come on, man. It's coming in over the border. Biden has over 7 million, almost 8 million people since he took office in. How do you divide 50 states, 50 into 8 million? I mean, how many people is that per state if you were to divide it out? And I already can tell you, I promise you this, I understand there's really good people coming in. Illegally too. But let's just say 1,000 of them are bad people from all over the country that are now in here. Now divide 50 into 1,000. How many is that going to be in each state that when they say, hey, it's time to roll, they're now in 50 states? What if it's 10,000 out of 8 million? What if it's 100,000 out of 8 million? Put 50 into the math in that. That's crazy. It's crazy. They're here. And we're not, oh, I'm realizing it. And I know if you're watching me, you're realizing it. This man's telling the truth. He's a Democrat. Vince Ellison, he's a Democrat coming out to say it's an evil syndicate. Sorry.
And whatever they do it, they win. John F. Kennedy said, if you when he, in the 1960s, if you want to talk about communism, he stood in front of the Berlin Wall. He said, if those who want to talk about communism, talk about how good it is, let them come to Berlin. Well, I said, if you want to talk about the Democratic Party, how good it is, let them come to Detroit. Let them come to Chicago. Let them come to LA. Let them come to Memphis, Seattle, Portland. Wherever they rule, it's nothing but graffiti, crime, hatred, dope, fighting, and crime. And they win.
What do you see on your news? What do you see? Every blue city it's gone. They're putting camps up, some brick and mortar to tents, but they're taking city land, government land, and they're building places for these people that just walked in and snuck in or got processed. If they get processed, it takes 4 to 5 years after the paperwork just to go see a judge. So what happened to our vets? What happened to the people that are on the streets that have mental drug addictions and mental situations? They're not building them a little city where they can work and get along and become sober and help themselves, but they're building it for these people. They're in our country.
and they're not going to stop it because that's how they win.
So then why do these same communities turn around and vote for the same people over and over
Stockholm
again?
syndrome.
Stockholm
It's Stockholm syndrome. Whenever you take a people and you demoralize them and beat them down, tell them that they're nothing. Have that. My first book was on the Iron Triangle. I worked as a prison officer, and I saw all these black men coming to prison. And I asked the black intelligentsia, I said, why are all these young black men coming to jail? I thought we'd overcome. Well, of course, the old refrain was, evil, rich, white Republicans, they hate black people. Well, I was naive, and I said, really? So I quit my job in the prison, started working down, and I went into the black ghettos and started a nonprofit. And when I got there, I saw something very, very interesting. I saw no rich white Republicans anywhere. You see a leprechaun before you saw one.
Right?
But what I did see were a lot of black Democrats making a lot of money off of the chaos. And I called them the Iron Triangle. That was my first book. Most black preachers, most black politicians, and most black civil rights workers. And
did you hear that? Preachers, politicians, and social workers. He's 100% right. That Iron Triangle can control a population.
They were conduits between rich white liberals in the Democratic Party and the poor black people living inside the ghettos. And their job was to make sure that black people voted for the Democratic Party by hook or by crook. It was people like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, NAACP, SELC, James Clyburn, Maxine Waters. Yeah, they care nothing about black people, man. They care about their own selves. They were the iPod version of the house Negro back during slavery times, who stayed in the big house with the master and made sure that the slaves stayed in line. It's the same thing. They are the same party.
That is so powerful. He just reframed, and I don't even like to say the word, so the house, the person that lives in the house, not out in the field. He was the one closer to the white people that owned the cotton field. And the people out in the fields didn't like those people that lived in the house or didn't respect them. They were bad news. But he's calling this like perfectly, and I'm proud of him. I support him.
Under different management, using different slogans and different words, but the result is the same. Keep black people poor, ignorant, under control, and supporting the Democrat Party, and they do it well.
Yeah, wow, okay.
So I need you to watch this whole thing. He just called it out. Power to Vince, man. Vince victory, baby. And good deal for Stephen Gardner to have this. He's got a 1.5 million views on this. And I'm telling you right now, people need to rewatch the whole thing because this guy's full of information. There are a number, and I have in my circle, a number of black people that are seeing the light, realizing that if you're, I don't like to use God because I believe in God. I don't care if you don't. But spiritual people in the good light, whether it's God or they worship the sun and the moon, but if they have the moral connections, so when they see something wrong and they feel something wrong and their gut tells them something wrong, that's the people that are feared by the Democratic Party. And his key word there, Stockholm syndrome. And that's a real thing. Look that up. There's a couple movies about it. That was just amazing. So I got to tell you, man, that was an eye opener. I watched the whole thing, and there's plenty to hear from him at every different angle. I hope that you take the time to rewatch it. I'll put the link in the video. And please, if you could, like, subscribe, share me around. You know I love you guys. You know I love the country. I love our vets. You can check out hashtag Coda Vets. That's an amazing place where people. Gretchen Smith, she does amazing things for veterans. I'm totally into the veterans. Need more help than what these people are coming over our border. So patriots lift up patriots. And if you can tell your neighbor, you love them, then you're ahead of the game. If you can't, then you got to move on. All right. I love you guys. Peace out. I'll see you on the next video.